It's going to be the step-by-step how to install a Thinkware F770 in a C63. This is a w205 chassis code, so this will fit in other w205s. And you can basically just use this step to put in any one of your Mercedes. It's pretty similar. Okay, so on the right side of the car, this is a right-hand drive car. I'm going to remove this floor sill. It's pretty easy to take out. I'm using a spoon to help me. And then this is where the fuse box is going to be located. And I'll show you the fuse. So right here, this is how it clips into the side. These are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mounting points. So just make sure you know this, and you can put the spoon there to help you take it out. Then we're going to take out this rubber grommet. This will help me hide my wires. If it's the first time you've done this, you do have to pull pretty hard to get this out. But once you get it started, it's pretty easy. So take this airbag one out. You just have to unclip this airbag bit. And once you pull that out, there's little clips. Once you get those out, this is pretty easy to take off on a Mercedes. So you're just going to slowly start working your way down on it, and it should just unsnap from the side. I'm going to give it a few jolts just to get it loose, but with a little bit of pulling it will come out. Just be careful you don't break it, and also be careful because there is an airbag in here. Okay, so you can see the airbag. It's right there. So when I do the wiring, you want to make sure you go underneath the airbag. That's important. You can see the clips. So there's 1, 2, and then 3. This is how it held in place, and there's one on the corner as well. Okay, I'm going to take the sill off the rest of the way. So I've actually had 3 of these cars already, and I have installed the same dash cam in all 3. So I already know which fuses to pull, so I'm not going to use my own meter. But if you don't know, I would suggest you use the own meter and test it. So here's the one I'm going to pull. I'm basically just going for easy ones. Normally I go for like the horn and for the cigarette lighters. Make sure one is a constant power and one's going to be switchable with the accessory. And then you also want to make sure your wires are going to be long enough to reach where you're going to mount your dash cam. I already know how much wire I'm going to need, so I will skip that step. And I'm going to not use add a fuse, even though I would suggest you do that. I just do it this way in this car. In the Porsches, I always add the fuse, but in the Mercedes, I've never had a problem doing it this way. Okay, so I got my wires done, and then I'm going to add in my ground right here. So there's 2 bolts here you can actually use. I'm going to pick up this one. It's pretty easy to install. I'm just going to slip it on. There's actually plenty of space here as well to hide the little connectors and also hide any excess wiring that you may have. So I'm going to leave this open for right now. So I'm pretty confident how much wire I'm going to need. So I'm going to actually start off with the front. I'm going to start tucking some wire into the headliner, any excess wire that I have as well. I'm going to leave myself just enough to mount the dash cam in the front, exactly where I want it centered in front of the mirror. I would suggest that you guys don't do this step until the end. Just so, because I've done 3, I know exactly how much wire I'm going to need. And do zip tie them together so you don't get as much movement. And then when you put this back on, make sure you don't pinch the airbag or the wires. I would suggest zip tying the wires that you do put in here. It just makes it a little easier and neater. Okay, I'm going to put the weather stripping back in because now I've already hidden that wire. And then I'm going to remove all the weather stripping at the bottom because I'm going to run all my wires in the foot panels basically rather than going at the top. This is much easier, and all these clips are going to help you hold the wires in place. Okay, to remove the bottom clip is very easy. I'm going to use my spoon so I don't break any of the trim. And all you're going to do is move this plastic piece up, and once you do, you can pull out the rubber trim, and then you can hide the wires in there. Okay, here are those clips I was talking about. You're just going to tuck the wire underneath them so this will not move. Once I'm done in this section, I am going to just put this sill back on. But if you have not done this before, I would wait till the very end before you start covering anything up, just in case you did need to pull a little bit more wire. So I'm going to use this spoon to help me get the trim back on. Sometimes you just need to put it in the clip just like this, in this exact angle, and I use a spoon just to kind of push the clip in a little bit more so I don't break it, and then just give it a little bit of force with my hand and it will just go in. Okay, we're going to take this panel off. You just pull out this little airbag sign, and you can pull the whole thing off. You can remove the rubber seal as well, and this will help me hide the wires up into the rear windscreen. Okay, this is the kick plate in the back, and it's got the same clips running all the way down. And we're going to do the same that we did in the front. I'm just going to place the wire underneath this so it holds it in place, and this can go all the way up to that back window. And we're going to zip tie it if I don't find the clip, like near that airbag housing that I'm taking out in the back corner. I'll zip tie it in there. So you can see there's already some stuff back here. I'm going to zip tie to that, keep the wires away from the material that's going to get too hot. Okay, I've checked, I've got enough wire now to the back, and I'm just going to put this stuff back together. It's pretty easy, put the sill back in place, and I'm going to put this plastic piece down. The spoon is just going to help me basically bend everything back where it was. So this is the wire that's got to go to that rear camera. So it's going to tuck it into the headliner. So no one will ever know that it's actually here. It's going to tuck it right to the top, and it's just going to clip right into where I mount my camera. So I have already cleaned all the glass, and I have heated up the panels. That way this is going to stick very easily to the glass. Last steps are going to be to plug this front one in. And you can see it's got the bent clips. That way it's going to be able to close. That way it will hide the wires pretty nicely. I have tucked them into the top. I always tie them around my mirror as well sometimes, but you don't have to do that part. And you're going to just clip this right in place, and then you are done.